Hello, everybody. Yes, it's almost 5 o'clock and we're ready. It's going to be an amazing show today. Welcome to another episode of hashtag I'm Just Saying. I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want you to get involved. I want you to ask questions. I want you to leave your comments. Everybody. Because today it's almost we are going to talk to the Robinsons. Oh my God, it's going to be so awesome. There we go. So, welcome to another episode of hashtag I'm Just Saying. I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want you to get involved, ask questions, leave your comments, because today we are talking to the Robinsons. We are talking about overcoming tragedy and the life and journey of the Robinsons. I hope you guys had an amazing week. As you know, this was the first official week of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and that's why we have on our pearls. Did you wear your chucks and chucks and pearls this week, ma'am?
I did. I got my pearls on, got my earrings on, got my ring on. Yes.
I was so very proud. I just hope they do us good because we really went out to the polls and we really got them in. Now we need y'all to not talk about it, and we need you to be about it. So today, this is the Robinsons. She is an author of a book, Finding Your Best Self, and he is an auctioneer. And I know you're like, a black auctioneer, 25, 35, 45, 75, I never knew that there was a black auctioneer. And we're going to get into that later in the show. We're just going to really just have a great conversation. My show is mostly about conversation. So if you're new to the channel, I want you to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you can always be involved and always be aware of what's going on hashtag I'm Just Saying. Now, what is y'all cocktail for conversation today?
Well, my cocktail, I actually have barefoot.
Okay.
Strawberry.
And what is it good? Is it good, girl?
Let's see, let's taste it. Cause see, I really never had it. I bought the bottle because it was so pretty. Oh my goodness, it is good. It's fruity.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of like barefoot stuff is. So it's good. Okay. So yeah. I'm liking it.
And what about Mr. Ronnie?
My fruit juice ready to scream and holler.
He said he wasn't drinking anything today. He was only doing juice or water or tea, and I'm not mad at that. Now, I was pressed for time. You know, I usually make up a great cocktail, but let me just let y'all in on a little secret. I left my computer at work. I'm a hairstylist by trade, and I had to run to my job, which was 45 minutes away, and run back and get ready for hashtag I'm Just Saying, because, you know, I believe in starting on time. So today, I have barefoot as well. It's a barefoot spritzer. You know, my can is green, so my green screen is kind of picking it up. But it's peach and honey. And this came in a gift basket, a get well gift basket that I received when I had COVID. And it's not half bad, but I did add a little peach vodka to it just in case it was not okay. But pretty good, pretty good. All right, so let's get into this interview. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. Any one of you guys can go first.
So my name is Rhonda Robinson. I am a first-time author, a coach, a speaker, HR professional.
All right, all right. And you, Mr. Ronnie?
I am Ronnie Robinson. I am a car sales for 41 years, be 42 years on February the 16th. And my first time auctioneer began in November 20 of last year. And I'm ready to make a difference.
All right, because I can't wait to talk about that. Now, if you guys are watching and you have questions for the Robinsons, or you want to get involved and leave comments, feel free to go into the comment section and do that. And if you are a new subscriber, type your name in the comment section, because we are giving away a gift today. You don't want to miss that. So where did you guys grow up?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we grew up in Centerville, Illinois. That's where we grew up. In Centerville.
Okay, is that close to East St. Louis?
It is. It's like, okay, so you know how Ferguson is to St. Louis? Mm-hmm. So it's like that. You get out of Ferguson, you in the city. You get out of East St. Louis, you in Centerville. So it's just
Got you. So
but a better area. But a better area.
So what was life like that? What was life like there for you?
It's a small community. Everybody knew each other. And it was just so much camaraderie. You know, back then it took, you know, the saying is it takes what is it? It takes a village to raise a child, and that's exactly what it was. So everybody knew everybody. It was so much respect, and it was just, I had a wonderful childhood. What about you?
You know, I had the best because my dad was everything.
Huh.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's a blessing to say.
Better come from a man. You know?
Did y'all come from 2-parent households, both of you?
I came from a single-parent household with a mom and eight brothers and sisters in that, you know, growing up with me. But my father distilled a lot in me. And I'll never forget that because he pushed me to where I am, even though he's not here, with the help of Charlie Page, who gave me my first job at the age of 15.
Got you. What about you?
And then as far as me, it was a 2-family household, but then I actually went at the age of 12 and moved in with my grandmother and my grandfather, my grandparents. And then they totally raised me, you know, the whole 9 yards. So, but I have 10 siblings, which I know, which is a combination of 2 families, but my grandparents did such a great job at bringing us together every weekend, where we didn't know that we, you know, as they say, step sisters and brothers. We didn't know anything about that step. We were just sisters and brothers. Yeah.
I can kind of relate to that because, you know, I was raised by a single parent. You know, my father was absent, but we had so much love in the house because it was my mother and all of her siblings and her parents in the house that raised us. So even though my father wasn't there, I still had that male example from my grandfather. And then my grandmother's siblings who were married, you know, I had those examples of a whole relation, a whole family. So where did you guys meet?
I'll let him tell that story.
Because she don't know the story, you know. And she don't know the story. You know, she blank out certain things, but you know, a real man don't blank out nothing. But we met in Centerville Public Housing.
Okay.
She stayed an apartment away from her father. And I'll never forget when she ended up in the back projects. Her brother, Red Reynolds, used to always say, "Don't go in the back projects messing with my sister." So I said, "Man, she must be cute." We was 12 years old. I said, "She must be cute. I'm going in the back project," you know, because I ran the projects for real, you know, up and down the project. And I never forget, you know, going in the back projects and seeing her. And I used to knock on her grandmother's door, and she would tell me she's in the shower, and I'd be like, "Okay," and her granddaddy would say, "Tell that boy to go home or tell that boy to come back later," you know. So, you know, you look back over your life, and now at the age we are now, you know, 57, 58, it makes a big difference when you could have someone that you could trust and grow old with.
Yes, indeed. And how do you remember it? Because, you know, sometimes men remember things just a little bit different than we do.
Right. So I see. I didn't know the whole thing about my brother telling him not to come back to my grandparents' house. So I didn't know that. So I remember him hanging with one of my other brothers, Tracy.
Well, you know, I had to get close to somebody, you know, so I can show up. My dad said, "Don't never be a fool, boy. Be ready for anything."
Ready, got to get ready.
So I kind of remember hanging with Tracy, and then back then, you know, they used to have like all of these dances, you know, like every weekend there was a dance at this community center called Mary Brown Center, and we would all go to the Mary Brown Center, you know, on a Saturday night or whatever. So that's how I remember actually being with him and knowing who he was. And then we also went to school together.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I knew him from school, but you know, I was like, let him just stay over there where he at.
Look at that. So how did y'all know that it went from friendship to love? Like you knew, oh my God, this is it. She is the one or he is the one. When did y'all realize that?
I think I knew it. I think girls know it before boys do. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I knew, like after that for real slow dance, because back then, we did the whole slow
You want to
dance
move
thing.
now? You want to move
So
now?
after the for real slow dance, it was like, oh my God, I think I love this boy. But then, you know what? You don't even know what love really is.
Yeah.
But you just
It's
have
the
those
butterfly.
butterflies and stuff. Yeah. So I would say probably when we was probably ninth grade, I guess. Yeah, ninth,
Okay.
10th grade. That's when I really, really knew
So
that this
when did
boy
you
gonna be my
guys
husband one
get
day.
married? When did you
Huh.
get married?
When did we get married?
Hmm.
We just got married.
Okay.
2019.
You remember?
We got
Remember what
married
time?
2019. November the 6th. November 6th, 2019, we got married.
Y'all pretty much newlyweds when it comes to marriage. See, I thought you guys had been married for a really long time.
Mhm.
No, we separated. We had been together, had our children, and then you know what? He went his way, I went my way. He got married, I got married. And then when everything happened with Breon, our youngest son, in 2018, trying to stay on his case and things like that. And I mean, you know what? Just the kindling and the you have somebody to talk to, because you know what? It's one thing when you lose a child and it's a stepmother or a stepfather. It's still not the same as the actual parents, the biological parents. So, we started working on Breon's case and things like that. And I mean, he was divorced, but I was still kind of married.
Girl, come on with the juice. Come on with this is tea. Whoop, sipping it up.
Putting it out there, I was still kind of married. But the whole time, you know what? There was no funny business or anything like that going on. We totally respected my marriage that I was still in. And then eventually I got a divorce. And he told me, he said, when you get a divorce, he said, I'm gonna be at the courthouse and I'll marry you the same day. I was like, no, you won't.
So that mean I had to go out and tell all the women, I can't do this no more. I gotta let you go. And I was being honest. I had to pick up the phone and say, I can't do this no more. I'm wait on what God has for me. And I had one lady tell me, at least you being a man about it. A lot of people won't be a man. And I told them, I said, one thing my daddy told me in life, you stop cheating and you stop lying. And he never lied because he had 15 kids and he kept us real. And I know.
So I don't know if you want to talk about this. You talk about it however you want, whether you want to talk about it in depth or you want to talk about it just kind of graze over it. But let's talk about your son and what happened that brought you guys back together, because I believe somebody else's tragedy. There's a lot of people that go through the same things, but they don't have anybody to talk to. And once they see they went through that too, or something similar, it kind of helps heal. And that's one thing I believe us Black community, we don't share to heal. And if we could heal one another by our situations, our testimonies, it could really help. So let's talk about that a little bit. Either one of y'all.
I'll let her go first.
So, actually, the whole thing started with Breon. It will actually tomorrow, the 25th of January 2018. That's when everything started like trickling pertaining to Breon. So, on the 30th of January, that's when 2018. That's actually when we found out that Breon had been murdered. He had been burned and his body had been placed in a dumpster down in St. Louis City. After that, Breon's case is still an open investigation, and it's very active. He was 28. He was our youngest son. And it was it's still difficult because, like I say, tomorrow is the beginning, to me, it's the beginning of where we were 3 years ago.
I understand.
And I never forget, I came home from work that day. Well, it was the 25th. I came home from work that day, sitting on the couch, looking at the news, and they said they found a body burned in a dumpster down in the city. And I'm like, oh my God, whoever this person is, he couldn't have did anything bad enough for them to burn his body. And I said, I just pray that they find justice. I pray that they get whoever did whatever they did to him, not even knowing that it was us.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was it's strange, but I was out of town that evening, and I got a phone call from his ex-girlfriend telling me he's missing. And I'm not ashamed to say it, and I keep it real because that's who I am. And the first thing I said is, how you know a person missing that you don't sleep with? You got a separate house and you got a separate house. How you know a person missing? And I said, you know, whatever went wrong, I'm gonna do all I can to finish it. And I'm not. I say this. I said it on the news, and I say it because I got a little, you know, talk show, real talk. That's what I call my little show. And I got my video man, my camera, and we go out and he YouTube, and you can find me on YouTube, Ronnie Robinson. And I tell them all the time, I stood in front of headquarters. I went to every office, every person I need to see. I went off on a whole lot of people, but one thing I tell them, I ain't scared of nothing. And the reason I say that, because I'm from the street. I'm an ex-drug dealer. I'm not ashamed to say I was an ex-drug dealer. I was indicted for 20 years. A man named Francis Touche got me off indictment. That's one of the reasons I had to leave who I loved to get away, because I didn't want that burden on her. And Francis Touche kept telling me, you got to take this to your grave, because they knew I got you off indictment. I could be in a lot of trouble. So I never underestimated what a politician could do if they wanted to do it. And that's why I tell people, you can have a blank sheet of paper. If it's something you want to do, you don't do it. And I stand out there and I'm going to continue to fight, going on 3 years. And I say this, I ain't scared of nothing. And I mean it.
What made you turn your life around?
Project cleanup. Pastor O.V. Carter used to always come through the projects. And Bubbling Brown Sugar's dad used to be with him, and Pastor John Henry Williams from Madison and Venice area. They used to all come through there and, you know, talk to us. And with me being on the corner year to year, when they came through, they stopped, called us, said, come here. He said, God got something better for you. And I said, oh man, no, he don't. So when I got news of the indictment, because they hand me the paper. And I'll never forget, when they hand me the paper, I was a drug dealer with Caucasians. I wasn't a drug dealer with African Americans. Let's get that straight. That's how I got off. Because I had the right connection, because the people that I could have took down being a snitch as an African American could have destroyed a whole lot of Caucasians. And that's how I got off.
I got you. So around what age range was that for you in your life at that time?
I was 27 years old.
So with everything going on with your son, did that make you reflect on your old life when that happened to your son?
I actually, and I say this because I did put it on tape at the police headquarters. Honestly, when I was in headquarters and they told me that was my son in the dumpster, our son in the dumpster, I made a phone call to my guys in Detroit that I sold dope with. And I told them to get here in St. Louis quick. Let's kill everything, move. And I never forget, she asked me that morning, don't do it. She said, I got a feeling you finna do something. And honest God, true. My guys came in from Detroit. I told them where to get a car from. I told them where to get guns from. And I knew the night his roommate moved out, the next morning I told the detective, I said, I saved a life last night because I could have had 3 killed. And I never forget, I put this on tape. So I'm not ashamed of who I am, But I'm blessed to say, if it wasn't for her, I would have did what I had to do.
I understand.
You know, and one thing I tell anybody, you don't know where your mind gonna take you till you've been there.
Yeah.
You don't know where your mind gonna take you. And your mind will take you deeper than you ever think, especially when you're an ex-drug dealer like me. Your mind will take you realizing, I believe in carrying my guns, I believed in bulletproof vests, I believed in all that, because my dad was a police officer. 30 years. So he trained me to protect me, my family, and my friends. He always say, you protect real people. I don't care who in your family, if they ain't real, they get in a predicament, walk away. Protect your friends. And I live by that. If you come wrong, I can come wrong. But if you come right to somebody in my family that don't treat me right, hey, that's on y'all. I'll walk away.
So you guys were together since childhood. And because of your lifestyle, in your early or mid 20s, you got separated. You did that to protect her.
Yeah.
Now this happens to your son. And God kind of pull you guys back together.
Yeah.
How did, because my question was, what brought you guys back together? That's what brought you back together. How long did it take before you knew? Because she said she was still married, you were divorced. Well, this is who I need to be with. This is who my one true love.
Well,
how did you know that?
I knew once I got my divorce and my son came over, our baby boy, and he was like, Daddy, take mama out for your birthday. I said, your mama married, boy. I ain't taking your mama out. He said, Daddy, I'll pay for it. I said, boy, you got to be a fool. Man, you can get back with my mama now. She ain't happy. I said, man, you leave that alone. I ain't getting in the middle of that. So, you know, you live and you listen to your kids and you learn. And I'll never forget, I talked to our son, Brian, that's older than the one that had got killed. And I went to a man to man, and I went to Benez man to man. And them the only two people I was worried about how it was going to be. Because Benez was our oldest, and then Brian was both our oldest. So my thing was, if I don't be around, the first thing I want to talk to is my two sons. Let me find out how y'all feel, because I can care less how my mama feel, her mama feel, her sister feel, my sister feel. I ain't living for nobody, because I always say this, when I die, I don't know who's gonna be in the building, and I don't know how y'all gonna cry, but I know one thing, if I ever have to sit on front row with who I love, y'all can't handle it. I've been there and done that.
I know that's right. So how did you know? Okay, I'm gonna ask a real serious question. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. Did you fall back in love with him while you were still married? And is that why you decided to divorce? Or were you already unhappy and you just took care of that to get back with your one true love?
I was already unhappy.
Okay.
I was unhappy. And feeling, and I knew that I couldn't totally operate out of emotions. Or let me say this, I had to separate my emotions, because I could not operate in my emotions but still be in bereavement, still mourning. So I had to really, really soul search myself. And I had to know, was this true love, or was this just me needing somebody that knew what I was going through? And I knew that it was true love once I actually separated the two. And it took me a while to separate, because I had to figure it out. And I didn't want to think that I was still in love with him and then pull him in and he's still in love with me, and I'm just basically still mourning over the loss of our son. So I knew after I, did my work on Rhonda, I knew. But like him, I also went to Bernez, who was my oldest son, and Brian, and had a sit down with them and said, hey, this is what's going on. I don't want you out of here, anything out in the street. Tell me how you feel. Tell me exactly how you feel. Don't sugarcoat it or anything. I need you to be honest with me because I've always been honest with you all. So tell me how you feel. And they were like, you know what? Brian was like, I know that's my dad, but at the end of the day, I want you to be happy. And I said, well, Brian, it's more to it than being happy.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I want what's best for you. And I said, okay. And he said, and I think you can make your own decision because you're grown, mama. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
Whatever come out our mouth, boy. So what advice would you give someone who has dealt with loss?
First of all, you have to, no matter what it is, you have to, even if you don't have a relationship with God, you have to get one. You have to get a relationship with God. You can be upset with the world when it happens. You could be upset with God when it happens. But at the end of the day, you have to establish a relationship with God because God is the only one. He is the only one that will pull you through when you need to be pulled through. He is the only one.
I want to pick up and say this. For a long time, I for the first time in my life, I didn't realize what hatred was. And hatred is a scorn. But then I had to realize a man scorn is a man don't live. And I had to fix that scorn wound and said, I'm better than being scorned. I forgive God. I forgive those who killed him.
Yeah.
And I had to look at life and move on and have forgiveness. And I say that because I say that as a man. We always say, man, we cool, we made a mistake. Can you forgive me?
Yeah.
And I had to find in my heart how many times God have forgiven me.
Ooh, come on now.
You know what I'm saying? When you talk about somebody was a drug dealer and banging himself and busting heads and stuff, I am not ashamed. But one thing I can say, I ain't never been fingerprinted.
Yeah. I got you.
I seen bullets go over my head. I had 2 hits on me. I found out about the hits. I went to them. I said, tell your people, if they really want to hit me, they hitting the right person, but the wrong person don't come to them. You know what that means? Always have somebody got my back. I ain't gonna go in no spot. Just me. You might think I'm by myself, but guess what? Somebody gonna know where I'm at that time. So don't think it's easy. And I never forget the guy told me, how you knew I was watching you? I said, cause guess what? You ain't got enough money to be in this environment that we are in. So they let me know you watch me come out the hotel and you watch me come in this nightclub in Chicago and you watch me sitting over there, but you could never afford a drink. So never forget the eyes around you.
And can I just piggyback on the whole forgiveness thing?
Yes. Yes.
So, because you know what? First of all, we never think that we are going to be served the plate that we are served.
Come on now.
And I can remember looking at the news, you know, and seeing people that relatives have been, you know, murdered, and then the person that murdered them went to court and was convicted, and then the family get on the news and say, oh, well, I forgive them. And until you actually travel that, you really don't know what it is to forgive somebody. Because I can remember in my head saying, okay, how you gonna forgive somebody that killed somebody that's related to you?
Yeah.
But it's easier than we think it is, you know.
Okay.
It really is. It's easier than we think it is, because I've always said, I really want to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And I don't ever want anybody to be upset with me or if I hurt somebody, if I do something wrong to you, then guess what? They say, well, charge it to my mind and not my heart. No, tell me what I did. Tell me what I did, because guess what? I need to forgive you no matter what. Because forgiving somebody is just like a lie. It don't matter what magnitude the lie is. A lie is a lie. Whether you stole a straw or you killed somebody, a lie is a lie. So when you forgive somebody, you have to forgive them wholeheartedly, and not just forgive them because I'm gonna forgive you, but I ain't gonna forget what you did or what you said. Well, you know what? If you gonna say you didn't forget what I said, but you forgave me, you unstable. You are unstable, because in order for you to forgive, I'm not gonna say you necessarily will forget, but guess what? I will cover that thing up where you will forget. He will cover it up.
That was my question. Where did you find it? Because it's easy to forgive somebody if they cheat on you. It's easy to forgive somebody if they fool.
Why you gotta throw that out there?
It's easy to forgive somebody for the little.
Why you gotta throw that one out there?
You took my job, or you knew it's just little things. But to take a life,
yes.
Yeah.
Where did you find inside? Because that's real Christianity. That's real walking with Christ type thing, because I love the Lord.
Yes.
And you got to really dig deep in your salvation.
Yes.
To sincerely forgive.
Yeah.
How did you do that? How did you guys do that? I commend you. How did you find it inside to say, you know what?
I say this. Looking back over my own life.
Okay.
Not being perfect, which no man is perfect, but knowing that God forgave me for some things I have done.
Right.
And I made up in my mind, God, if you forgive me for the things I've done, then I don't trust you to give me justice.
Yes,
because I don't take my hands off of it. And I know if you put your hands on it, you gonna get them, because you gonna make them either suffer long term or turn themselves in by talking to the wrong person. So God, you work on their mind like you worked on my mind, to tell the truth. You work on their mind to trap they self. And I'll never forget that prayer I prayed. And after that, I just let it go, because I realized it could eat me up. And then I'm no good.
Yeah.
And I always tell young people out here, they don't wish one day when we get justice, they don't say, man, I wish I had a father like that.
Yeah.
They don't mind staying out in the front line, military trained, ain't never been the military. Police trained, ain't never been a police academy. But I thank my dad for pushing me.
For me, for me, with the relationship that I have with God, I always felt I had to forgive, because I could not jeopardize the things that I want God to do in our life. Amen. I could not jeopardize that. And that's one of the things that I say in my book. I cannot jeopardize holding any kind of malice, holding any kind of unforgiveness, treating people unlike God would have me to treat them. I cannot jeopardize what I want from God, what I need God to do for us. And I trust God to do exactly what He is going to do. So I cannot jeopardize it. So in me not being able to jeopardize it, I had to learn to forgive. And I really jumped on the bandwagon of forgiveness when he started talking about forgiveness.
I know that's right.
It didn't come from me first. It came from him, because although I know, physically what we can do as far as Breon case goes, go out there and try to take things in our own hand. But there will be another family going through something that we are already going through. And I couldn't afford that. I could not afford that. because I need God to give us justice.
Yes,
I need
sir.
God to give us justice.
Yes,
And that's what
yes,
and that's what we're looking for. And I'll say this because, you know, May 15, 2018, 2019, May 15, we was in police headquarters with the old detective. And I'm sitting here, the detective sitting there, and she's sitting next to me. And when I went in, I told the detective, I said, I know that I call you in the middle of the night. I know I frustrate you, but I won't ask you to forgive me because I know how I am. I'm very pushy. I'm not the type you can push me. I'm not gonna push you back. If you ignore me, I'm gonna let you know. I won't hit the button and make you realize. Don't ignore me. Talk to me about my son's case. So anyway, I apologize. He threw in my face, Mr. Robinson, I gave you the name, go kill it. He said, that's what you do. I gave you the name.
He trying to make you handle it.
Yeah, he said, I gave you the name, go kill it. Because attorney Kim Gardner ain't gonna do anything. We don't, the police here in St. Louis don't get it along with Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. Her office don't like the police and they feud, but we caught in the middle. So I looked at him and I tell him, I said, man, let me tell you something. I just apologize to you. But if you think I'm a punk, before I kill somebody, I kill you. I don't care about being in no police headquarters. Ain't no white man don't tell me what to do. Yeah. And he looked at me. I said, you see this woman sitting here? I listen to her more than I listen to my mama. So don't you never think you can tell me what to do, because I kill you. Yeah. If I'm going to jail, I go to jail for you. I ain't going to kill my own. Yeah. He looked at me and he shut up. Yeah. And I said, man, I'm finna go because you don't know me. I hurt you in here. And we was in police headquarters. And I turned them in, they investigated and took him off the case. So don't tell me that I should be scared of nothing. When I say ain't scared of nothing, I don't care if you're the police, I don't care who you is. If you come wrong, I can come wrong. I'm very educated.
I need people in authority to do better, because to tell somebody I gave you the name, you take care of it. No, well, if you have the name, go handle your business.
Right.
So I want to talk about, we know what age you were when you were in the streets. You know, we still have young men and women who live that lifestyle. And they think they have so much because they're making this fast money, or they getting all this jewelry and clothes and attention. What advice would you give them to tell them to make a change? Because their parents could be sitting on the front row, or they could be sitting on the front row because something happened to their family, or behind bars. That's another form of slavery. They could be in penitentiary, life just gone. So what advice would you give a young man, woman, or a young adult? Man, the streets ain't for you. They're not for you. Find something else to do, because my mind says if you can hustle dope, you can take that same mentality and do something else that's legal. Or if you've already done that for so long, take the money that you've made and do something else with that. Don't stay in that game, because I know drug dealers are addicted to the money, just like the addicts are addicted to the drug. What would you tell, what advice would you give to some young person?
Well, this is advice I give every day of my life when I run into somebody, because a lot of people draw to me.
I got you.
Personality. And they always say, oh, gee, how did you get out? And I told them, I got out and invested in 2 cars with my own money. Even though I sold cars at a dealership, but I got out invested in 2 cars with my own money. And I took them 2 cars 41 years ago, and that's how I got started where I'm at today. I took them 2 cars and I sold them 2 cars, and I bought some more cars and I added to some cars. And people kept saying, man, you'll never have nothing, you'll never be nothing. I heard that before. but I wouldn't refuse to let you brand me when you didn't have me.
Yeah.
So I tell the young people all the time, take some and correct it and make the money work for you, that you can look back and have some, because that's how I made it out. I took money and bought 2 cars.
Amen. Now, I got one more question before we get into the auctioneering and the book, because I want to end on a light, happy note. What advice would you give to keep a marriage strong? Because y'all have been through a lot. Not saying that, you know, even though you only been married since what, 2019, right. Y'all been knowing each other since you were kids. So what advice would you give someone to keep a relationship or a marriage strong?
I would say, first of all, you have to communicate. You definitely have to communicate. You have to have trust. You have to be able to be honest with each other. And one thing with him, he always, I mean, from day one, he was like, I need you to put everything on the table. Put everything on the table. And that's what I do. I put everything on the table. So communication is big. And then you have to spend time with each other. You have to spend quality time with each other. You have to do things with each other.
Yes.
And I mean, we have fun. I mean, people on our Facebook page I have people tell me, oh, you all always doing something. What you all doing this weekend? And I'm like, we resting this weekend, okay?
But you know,
but you have to learn how to have fun with each other, and you have to keep your business to you.
In your own
You cannot let everybody in your marriage. What happens in your house stays in your house.
Come on, preach that, sis. Preach that. Well, yes. Come on, Ronnie. Give me how you keep a marriage strong.
First of all, as an African American man that wants something and want to be successful, you got to have successful people around you that believe in you. You can't just hang with anybody just to say that you got somebody to be with. I had a lot of people cross me out, tell me I'm too kind-hearted, but I always tell them, when you suffer, I'm gonna still be blessed.
I know that's right.
I ain't gonna hate on you. You can go talk about me. You can't catch me in the middle of this man's house, this man garbage. I stay to myself. If I hang out with my brother Johnny, I love my brother Johnny like never before.
So what you saying to me is, you ain't hanging out with everybody. You hanging out with your wife, and that's how you keep your.
That's right.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
My brother Johnny and his fiance Melville, we travel together, we laugh together, we cried together.
I know that's
but I like the realness.
I know that's
you get some people with you, ain't with you, and they love to see you go through something to take something out your door. And it ain't trash, it's your life. So be careful how they take trash out your door. And it's best door shit.
So, Miss Rhonda, you know, I can remember your name because that's my mama's name.
I know.
So, Miss Rhonda, tell us about your book, Finding Your Best Self, and what made you start writing and become an author?
So I've always known that there was a book somewhere in me. I've always known. So with the book, the way it actually started, so our pastor, he actually had me to do an exhortation on the spirit of self-control.
Okay.
So when I was coming down the steps, after I did it, I was coming out the pulpit and I slipped and I broke my ankle. I broke my foot and sprained my ankle. So of course I was off work for, a good week or two. So while I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, let me just start looking into the spirit of self-control. That was the first one. I started looking into it. Then before I know it, I was taking notes and I had like this whole long page of stuff on self-control. And once I found out I knew that there were more, but then when I actually looked into them, I was like, oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm about to write me a book. And that's exactly how I did. But in the book, it tells how I had to deal with everything that was going on with Breon and also some of my family members, because I mean, not only did I lose a child and had to learn how to hop back into the world, into the workforce, as if nothing had happened. But then I had family members that was kind of like throwing darts at me at the same time. So I'm like, okay, and it still goes back to, I cannot let anything get in the way of us getting justice for Breonna. So in the book, I actually tell how we all have every one of the fruit of the spirits: patience, love, joy, forgiveness, kindness. We all have those, but we don't necessarily put them to use the way that God would have us to put them to use, or the way that we could put them to use. Because one thing I found out going through what I went through and then writing the book and researching on it is some of the fruit of the spirits will make people think that you are naive and soft, where people can get over on you. So that's actually how it came about. And it's I think this book is for not only for me, but it's for it's for everybody. Everybody that read it will get something out of it. And it teaches you not only who you are, if you dig down into who you are. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to do a self-examination.
And we don't want to touch the core of our soul. We want somebody else to think I got our soul together. But I had to jump in on that.
And while I was doing this book, I had to be, again, very transparent, because remember, I had to be transparent when I was in a relationship with Ronnie, getting back with him. I had to be transparent again and dig down and find, who is Rhonda? Really, who is Rhonda? And what did God put in me, not just for me, but for everybody else? Because what he put in each one of us, it really isn't for us. It's for people to see him in us. And we don't do that, and it's a shame that we don't, because in this day and time with the pandemic and everything that's going on with the government and all of the deaths, we need to tap into who we are, and then we can really, really be nice and be kind to one another. Because even with the spirit of patience, we had to stand out in the line outside to get in Sam's to get some toilet paper. You know what I mean? So that's when the patience came in, going from store to store just to get in the store and for them to tell you, oh, we ain't got no toilet paper.
Don't have it anymore. Yes, Lord Jesus.
So patience came into play when we didn't even realize it did. Also, kindness came into play even when we didn't realize it did, because we had to stand in line and respect each other. We had to give each other their 6 feet, So in this book, I think that, and I wanted to nourish people's spirits and their souls so that they could find out who they really are, because we are more than just flesh and blood. We are more than that, and we take care of the outside of us. But we don't do anything to the inside.
We don't nurture the inside. So the book is an inside nurturing.
Exactly.
Got you. So look, Mr. Ronnie.
Okay. What you want to know?
I ain't never heard of a black auctioneer, baby. 25, 35. It's sold.
Okay.
How did you get into that?
Actually doing our son getting killed and fighting for 3 years. My buddy Heath, he's an auctioneer. And he would always, every time I go to St. Louis Auto Auction, he would always say, man, you should be an auctioneer. I say, Heath, man, I got 1,000 things going on. I'm not going to auctioneer school. I'm fighting for my son. And he said, I understand. And I'll never forget, I had total knee surgery and I was in the hospital getting my total knee done. And I text Heath like 2 days before I was going to the hospital. And I said, send me the information. And he was like, information for what? Like he didn't know what I wanted. And I never forget, right before I went in the hospital, I asked my wife, I said, let's go online and register me to go to Worldwide Auctioneer College. And at that time, the college was going to be in Denver, Colorado, the class was. And it ended up being in Kansas City. But I'll never forget, somebody else see something in you that you don't see in yourself.
Yeah.
But I always said that I was going to retire from calls.
Okay.
And I kept saying, what I'm gonna do after I retire from calls? Because I'm a call wholesaler, been in business for 15 years for myself. And I kept saying, man, I'm finna sit down and I'm gonna take it easy. And it was crazy because I've been telling my wife, I said, when you gonna retire? Give me your retirement date. I'm gonna retire the same day. And she said, well, I start June 11th. And I said, well, you know, I ain't got no date on the 16th of February would be 15 years for me this year, 42 years this year. And I said, well, okay. So I started realizing 25, 35, 45, 55, 57, 75, 85, 95, 100. And I said, let me get out of here and get ready to get me some business.
Yes.
I
So
say,
tell me about auctioneering. How it go?
So I realized that if I can scam up a customer and be a wholesaler and do better than some car dealers that has big fancy lots, and I can set up new deals and travel all over the world. And I got a lot of cars out there. That was my ministry. That God placed me to be in. It wasn't all about a car and making money. Let's get that together, because a lot of y'all think that it was all about money. You didn't see the tears I cried sometimes. You didn't see the heartaches I went through sometimes, the frustration. People talk to you any kind of way because they got some money. And I'll never forget this man telling me, he said, you know why I trust you? Because even when I made you mad, you didn't go tell the person who introduced me to you. And you know what I told him? You know what I told him? I ain't gonna tell nobody that you paid me either.
So what do you auction? Do you just auction cars, or do you auction off a lot of things?
I'm certified to auction off it all.
Okay.
Private homes,
Let the people see your hat and your gavel. I want them to know you real with it.
Livestock and all. I honestly got this gavel, and it was given to me delivering my wife's book.
We can't see it.
My wife's book.
Oh, they can't see the gavel.
Okay.
Because you suited up. There you go again. Okay, all right.
Okay, so I was actually given this gavel from a judge.
Okay.
Judge Jimmy Edwards.
Okay.
He's over St. Louis Public Safety. And I'll never forget the first day I met Mr. Jimmy Edwards. And I ain't ashamed to say it. We was at a meeting with the police. They had police in there, had the mayor in there, and Jimmy Edwards, and they had a mic, and you come up to the mic and you talk, and she talked, and I said, I want to talk. I said, I ain't gonna say nothing. And I got the mic. And I told the mayor, I said, Mayor, you told your people you met with me, do I look retarded? I'm trying to meet with you about my son's case, and you told people I met with you, do I look retarded? I looked up in the podium, and it was a room. The whole podium was police, all on the back wall, all through there, because it was a big meeting. And I say, Chief, you told me you wasn't the chief. You didn't have to lie to me as a man. So Jimmy Edwards was, Judge Jimmy Edwards over in the corner of the old public safety. I looked over there, I said, you need to come out the closet, man, and make them do their job. I say, because I ain't nobody to play with. I say, y'all ain't seen a hurt father. And I'll never forget, that was going on 3 years tomorrow. And me and Jimmy Edwards had our Ronnie, and I had that with Jimmy in 1920. Wow. But a month ago, when I took her book to Jimmy Edwards, former judge, he gave me a gavel with his name on it.
Oh, wow.
And I told him, he said, everywhere you go, This is a personal gavel. I'm giving it to you. I went outside the city hall of St. Louis, and I couldn't believe it. I looked up to the sky and I told God, you put this gavel in my hand, and there's two people got a gavel, and I'll leave this with you. One say served and one say sold. Pick the one you won't mess with. Because this man gave me a gavel that he was a judge.
I know that's
don't
right.
use this gavel to say sold. But you best believe I'm gonna take this gavel when it's time to go for justice. I'm kind of glad about the pandemic that I ain't got to do viral to see who killed our loving son. That I can walk in the courtroom when it's over. And I say that I'm looking forward to walking in the courtroom when it's over and having my gavel in my hand. And when the judge look at me and he know I'm an auctioneer because I got my hat on, he know I can go 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, sold. But he gonna say, serve life sentence for me.
Come on now. Well, you know what? You guys have really blessed me today.
And I thank
to see how love can make a U-turn, because I don't think you left her in the beginning because you didn't want to be with her. You knew your lifestyle wasn't conducive to what you wanted for her life.
You know, it's one of those things. I say this, and my son Brian was sitting in the church, and I was at Union Baptist, and Solomon Butler asked me to come down and speak. And I never forget, that's the first time I actually brought it out. At that time, our son Brian was married to her. And I spoke on it. I actually said this, and I'm not ashamed. I prayed for my ex-wife to leave. Because I knew it was over because of the way I felt like I'm getting treated. And I prayed, and I was standing in front of a pulpit when I said that. And I said for the first time, I'll never forget Francis Touche getting me off. My mother didn't know. My sisters and brothers didn't know. The only person know was my two boys. Because I always set them down when we got together and told them, if I'm that bad of a daddy, I'll let you hit me first. I ain't gonna hit you back, but I'll keep it real with you. And my two sons would always say, Daddy, we just believe you telling us the truth. I say, man, let me tell you something. Even when I got with her, I say, look, I'll tell your whole family why I done what I done. I ain't ashamed of nothing. And who don't like me, I don't care. Because I'm not in this world to be liked. I'm in this world to do what God asked me to do. And that's help his people.
Well, I'm glad to see, even though the circumstances, that God brought you guys back together. And I'm glad that you found ways to heal. You found healing in writing a book. You found healing in another career. And you are a prime example of what God's love can do for two people. Yeah. I wish you guys nothing but the best. And I will be constantly praying for justice for you and your son, because he will have the last and final say. I just trust and believe that and stand on that. So thank you guys so much. This was an amazing show. My God, y'all share this episode. And if you're new to this channel, I want you to subscribe and ring the bell, because you see we be talking about some great things. And also, if you are a new subscriber, in the comments section, I want you to put your name and that you're a new subscriber, and then I'll put your do this. Put your Instagram, because then I'll reach out to you via DM. I want to send you one of her books. I want to bless you with one of her books. And don't forget to tune in next week. I have been asked for years by somebody really close and dear to me to watch the movie Concussion. He suffers from, oh Lord, it's whatever the football. I should have wrote it down. You know, ever since I had COVID, I be having brain farts. But I want to watch the movie Concussion because he has CTE. And I have somebody that's going to come on the panel with me next week and explain to me CTE. So we're going to discuss concussion and CTE. It's something that football players have when they've played a really long time. and they suffer from some kind of brain injury. So that's what we'll be discussing next week. But you guys don't go nowhere. I want the rest of you to remember to laugh, remember to love, remember to be the light, and always bear good fruit. This is